music play. Well, boom, boom, bam, we are live. What is up, everybody? And I know that was the Stand Day logo, but I just want to remind everybody, if you want to fish on Sunday mornings with us, just get in touch with me and we get everybody out there fishing.
Dan,
Well,
I thought we were going to watch a Disney movie after that intro.
well, I want everybody to come running to the TV. So
you're already Butterfingers tonight, aren't you? Just to start out, you're 30 minutes late. You've done throw the Disney Channel in there and the wrong stuff.
I know it. We had a huge thunder lightning storm come through and it knocked out the power. But we're good to go now. And as you can see, I may have one of my epic friends with me here tonight. And Daryl.
Feeling very epic,
but and chop liver.
Well, I appreciate you, Daryl.
At least somebody does. Nobody in chat does, I promise you.
That's kind of our shtick. So then we got Catfish Cowboy out there. How's it going? Appreciate that. Catfish Cowboy was nice enough to drive by and drop off my river cat tackle hooks here for me today.
Nice.
So then we got 922 Crappie Barbecue. Mike Sampy is out there. How's it going, Sampy? Smoky Mountain Catfishing. Real and virtual outdoors. How's it going?
You know, Cowboy, I talked to him. Well, he actually sent me an email today and was talking to me through email, I guess. So he's been
awesome.
Yeah.
He's going to be what?
You know, he had to up his standards from after he seen you. He started sending me emails and stuff.
What?
Hey, man, that's what he said. I'm not trying to cause. I never cause trouble. Never, ever.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Daryl never causes trouble.
Hello there. There's Miss Chrissy. Miss Chrissy, my number one lady there. How you doing?
And Catfish with us is out there. Real and virtual, Troy. 3 nights. Miss Chrissy. Catfish with us. I saw the OH out there. I-O.
Keita. Not T. Shirley T.
We're trying to get caught up here because I was late. Shirley T. Great to see Shirley T. I think you said hello to her already. Smoky Mountain. Uncle Jeep. I think I saw Benoit fishing. My good friends Benoit. Lance is out there.
Is Benoit from Japan? You know,
Catfish with us saying it must be donkey season.
It's coming. It's not here yet, but it's coming.
That joke fell flat, didn't it?
No, I was just running through trying. I didn't throw the little oomph behind it, but
man,
what's up, Jeremy? I've got the old I don't know, the bronchial tubes and the lung infection right now, but I said for the good of Catfish and Stan and all you great people, I will try to struggle through it.
And we won't keep you long tonight, Tim. We won't keep you long. And I was thinking, what could make Tim?
Stan, I don't know if that's your choice, because if you get
you know what happens. Tim, I don't think it's any of our choices. It just depends how chat goes. And
yep.
But great people out there. Crappy Day Darren. Awesome people. Thank you. Greg B's out there. And if I missed you, just say hello in chat and we'll get there. Uncle Jeep said, I've had 25 minutes of active trolling in chat. You may not catch up. So, Tim, it is almost, just like you said, it's almost the time. And, we're here also. It seems like it's that time of year, where the birds and the bees are going on. And
yep. And my truck has been in the shop for 3 weeks.
Oh my goodness!
It gets out of repair jail this week so that I can start flathead fishing fairly soon.
There you go. Can I stop real quick to say thank you to Janice Hager for just sending the $10 for the fundraiser for Steve Douglas. Thank you.
Oh,
We're getting those already, so I just wanted to say thank you.
And Tim, if you're okay, that we're going to mention that real quickly. Crap, I never brought that over. But there is the, I don't know if you've heard about Steve, or for those that are new in chat tonight that haven't heard about Steve, he's battling some bone cancer right now.
Oh, geez.
You know, he had the floods that just totally demolished that whole area down there, and right after that, then bam, he's hit with this, and
and the expense from the lawsuit with Munster Energy Drinks, where he won that lawsuit. Lawyers don't work for free, folks.
Yeah, he won the lawsuit.
Yes,
he
won the lawsuit.
Yeah.
He just didn't lose.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you're still never better, but
you still lose when you're on the defensive end of it.
Absolutely. So it's crazy stuff, but you know how everybody does, Tim. We try to get together, and Daryl's got a bunch of companies and people and awesome people out here in the family, and they put donations together. So there's rods and reels and
that's good.
All kinds of stuff that's being raffled off, and the link is rolling right across the bottom of the screen right there. It's for PayPal.
$500 cash being given out.
Oh, that's right. That's one of the prizes. $500 cash, a couple rods,
and then another $200 cash will be drawn for. So we're going to be drawing for 2 cash prizes: guide trails, rods, reels, hooks.
I think
so much stuff.
I think River Cats Tackle has put up some stuff. B-Cats. There's a whole list.
Yeah.
Ooh, Catfish Cowboy says he's cooking fajitas. But so it's $5 a ticket.
Yes.
Dan,
3 for 10.
Yes, sir.
Who's in charge of that?
That'd be me.
Okay. So after this, we need to talk.
Okay.
Because I've got something special I'd like to donate.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
You hear that out there?
Keep it secret till then.
Yeah. Hear that out there? We'll get. And Daryl, when is this drawing happening?
It's happening next Wednesday, at 9 o'clock on the Trophy Seekers Outdoor channel. Not just another fishing show. Let me just run through these real quick, and then we'll get in with Tim talking. We got $500 being drawn for, $200 to be drawn for, a guide trip with Creo Guide Service, gold mine jigs from Jody. It's a set of gold mine jigs, fishing jigs. Fat Boy rigs from Kevin. 2 FOA. Actually, there'll be 2 brand new FOA rods that they'll be sent out from FOA, but James is giving that. River Cat Tackles rod, a Ripping Lips rod, custom cap and plaque done by Miss V. Whoever wins, there'll be 2 drawings. You'll draw one time, and you'll get a custom cap and a custom plaque done in your logo. We'll draw that 2 times, and then B-Cat boards donated by Catfish Sumo and Ryan Boards. So if anybody wants them, they're $5 a ticket. It's rolled across the screen where you can send that to, or 3 for $10. And if you buy $20 worth, you will get, no, I don't have it. You'll get a bait towel that's from the gathering this year. So anybody that does $20 or more will get a bait. We will mail you out a bait towel also. So great prizes, and sounds like we're about to get another one thrown in. So
not just another one, an epic one.
Epic prize, yeah.
So there you go. And it's how much a ticket?
$5 a ticket, 3 for $10, baby, just like always.
And there you go. And if you spend 20, that'd be 6 tickets plus the bait towel.
Yes.
And it's for Steve. Let's face it. I think everybody here. Yeah. I think, hey, there's our friend Bill Reddick Outdoors is out there. There's Burrito, Catfish Lady Lisa's out there. I think everybody here has a story about Steve, whether it was on a YouTube video you saw from him, whether you met him in person at CatCon, whether you heard a story about him, whether it's tournaments and promoting the sport of catfishing that you've heard of things. I think everybody here has some story about Steve that, I know that I was blessed enough to be, part of CatCon the past few years and everything, and got to know Steve, and I can't thank him enough for that. So, yeah.
He's been really good to me, and I think James helped get this thing going. He's the one that donated $500. So big shout out to James, also Cool Cats.
So I've got a Steve story, but I can neither confirm nor deny his end of it. I can just tell everybody my end of it. So the first time I met Steve, he had called me, and he kind of quizzed me. He said, now, because he remembered me from back in the Pro Cats days and all that stuff. He says, now, you ain't gonna just disappear on me, are you? I said, well, I plan not to. I said, hopefully I can just keep going the way I'm going, but I'm not going to like start a guide service again and get all big wound up into catfishing. I said, I truly love it, and I like to help people. So we kind of agreed that he said, okay, I want you to speak at the show. He goes, what are you going to speak on? I said, I can speak on anything you want, Steve. What do you want? And so we talked about it a little bit. We agreed I was going to talk about my regular, epic catfish, monster catfish mentality and all that stuff and how to do it and all that. So that was that first one that lasted like, I don't know if it lasted 2 hours or what. But anyway, when I first met him there, I was pretty psyched up about it. And so was Sean. And we got there and we're talking 100 miles an hour and we're all excited about stuff. And Steve looked, Steve, he's a Southern conservative gentleman. And I'm not so sure I didn't kind of scare him to death because he just looked at me like I had 3 eyes and he didn't even say much. He just kind of, I was like, okay, all right. So, yeah, he probably wasn't too used to dealing with somebody like me. So, and that's why I'm saying I'm just guessing what Steve thought. But he did kind of reinforce that a couple times when I met him later. He's just like, oh my gosh, what is this guy on something? Yeah, I'm on catfish. Well, that's what I'm on.
Well, if you've never experienced an epic seminar, that is something you don't want to miss if you ever get that opportunity.
Well, if he ever picks me to do CatCon again, I would be more than happy to.
Let's see. You, as a matter of fact, Tim, I've got something right here from one of those. That was just my sturgeon picture. It's okay. I'm resetting up my studio here, but guess what I have right here? It says to stand 3, stand 2, happy monsters, happy monster hunting. Tim Scott, epic catfish. Blam!
There it is. There it is. That is a silhouette of an 85-pounder.
And I've caught this in many times. I've caught this same fish right here in a tournament that I was hosting from here. And
yes, that one.
Daryl, for some reason, Daryl never gave me credit on it. I don't know why, but there we go.
Tim, I'm sorry. Yeah. I take that back. I said I was the jokester of this thing and don't pay me any attention.
Well, when I don't know, it Stan's over here to me, but yeah, Stan will get to going, and him and I about have to talk over each other.
Oh, don't worry, Stan talk over everybody.
What? What's the best trips? There you go. So, this time of year, 922 said, Stan, I'm not even that desperate. Jeez. Hey, when you're hosting, you got to take credit for anything you can. There's our good friend Angel Honeycutt. So, Tim, this time of year, I know you said that almost, how far away is it for you? Because I don't think, some people get confused when you talk because, you say a big fish and, I even said that in a comment in something that I heard them kind of, I'm like, no, you don't understand. When Tim is talking about a fish, a big fish, he's talking like 70, 80, 90 plus.
Yes. And
you don't have them right in your backyard either.
No, I do not. And you know what? There's very few people that really do. Most people that have really, really big fish have to travel to them, or that people that are really excited about catching really big fish, they got to go clear to the James. They got to go clear to the Tennessee. They got to go clear to the Mississippi. And I told somebody one time, and I don't want to pat myself on the back, but if I lived down by where I fish, oh boy, put the numbers up because I could go after work. I could go on a willy-nilly Saturday afternoon to Saturday evening. I could work with the, the work and the wife's schedule and all that. It's like a vacation trip we got to plan every single time. Like Sean and I, we got to get up, I got to go catch bait. Sometimes it takes 2 days and I got to drive 20 miles one way to get the right bait, come back. And if I don't get enough, I got to go back again the second day. So my weekend fishing trip that might start Saturday morning and end Sunday night, I got to start that thing on Wednesday or Thursday, and we got to drive 4 to 5 hours. That's if something doesn't break down or, God, I mean,
you've never had that experience before, right?
Yeah, no. So, and then we got 4 hours of scouting. So we have to, get out of here at a certain time so we can get there by noon or 1 o'clock because I've got to look at 20 miles of river to decide where I want to fish. Because it doesn't matter where you're fishing. If you plan on putting your baits in front of giant fish consistently, you got to know where they're at. And, at least I do. I mean, you can do whatever you want. You can go out there, go out from the boat ramp and just start, dragging. I don't know, but I prefer to go find them, and I prefer, and this is kind of my steps. So I'll make sure to have the bait. We'll make sure to get down there, and we got to get a hotel room first. So we launch it, and then I say, okay, how, I think in my mind, Sean and I talk about it for 4 hours, 4 straight hours. What patterns we're going to do, what we think the fish are going to do, how we think we're going to attack this, and sometimes I say, oh boy, I got to get moon eye, because you just somehow you just know when the bite's going to be tough. You get bluebird skies, or maybe the water's been heavily fluctuating before you get there. Now, if it's nice and stable, and we have just kind of half-assed cloudy skies, I'm good with the regular donkey baits that we bring. But if it's anyway bluebird, I want some moon eye. It's kind of like everybody else's shad. So the Mississippi used to have shad everywhere. It used to be and it still has shad. But with the advent of the Asian carp came in, dominated the space that the shad used to build up for the plankton, and then the shad population plummeted. So I have switched over to moon eye instead of shad, and giant suckers, 18, 20, 24, even up to 30 inches, and sometimes common carp. But to get back, and you always have to preface that, because you could talk about bait all day. You could talk about just going out there and running around, but how are you going to have the best chance at landing a monster? You got to go find them, and I'm not really an expert on a fish finder, believe it or not. I grew up on the old dot matrix stuff, which I know everybody in the chat's probably heard me talk about that before. So I mainly just do 2D, and I will scout that river according to the current, according to what the water level is, because I kind of already know. But sometimes I'm wrong. I'll actually guess that they're going to be in certain areas, and they're not. They're just outside of those certain areas. They're just outside of those certain areas, or running around, or maybe belly to the bottom, and I don't see a single thing for 5 hours. Then I've got to choose what my best options are going to be, and I may have to move even after dark. Maybe I'll have to downsize baits sometimes, especially in the early part of the year, like in July. June. A lot of my people will DM me or text me or whatever, do you use those giant suckers for flatheads? I do not. I will use about 1 or 2 really big baits for flatheads on an anchor, but most of my baits are going to be about like this, about hand size. I've caught an extreme amount of huge catfish on 4-inch bluegills, or 6-inch white bass, or 10-inch white bass, but the majority is going to be a bluegill or a green sunfish or whatever that's kind of live. Now, when the flatheads are closer for me, so in the month, but see, pre-spawn is like right now till about July 4th where I'm at in the country. So I've got 4 weeks, 5 weeks at the most to capitalize on the pre-spawn situation, because by July they're all on beds, not all of them, but most of them, and they go off the main river and they start spreading out. And there's a lot of tributaries to the areas that I fish, so I got to kind of strike while the iron's hot. And so for flatheads, I'm going to focus on about, especially during the pre-spawn, from about 6 foot of water, but not dead water. Dead water is carp and gar water to me. That's what you got. You got carp, you got gar, you got Asian carp, you got maybe some shad, maybe some whatever. But once you get closer to that main channel, or even if you're in a secondary channel, and I try to focus on wood cover, big snags, big log jams, things like that. But I'll also target rock. I'll target rock shelves and basin holes, especially earlier in the year before they start to faux spawn. And that means the big flatheads are going to go to the best areas with the best current, not too high, not too low, not too slow, not too fast. It's kind of like a porridge thing. You know, what's that story with the bears or whatever?
Goldilocks.
Goldilocks. It is the Goldilocks zone of flat fishing. And, you know, and as you guys know too, especially earlier in the year, I'm going to target things such as sunken barges, old bridges, things like that. Sometimes fairly shallow water, like I'll go up like a secondary tributary, and it'll all be 2 foot, but one spot gathers enough current when the water's high to have a 10 to 20 foot, just a pothole and wood in it. And that's some of the best. I mean, whenever I find that, I almost always contact decent sized flatheads and sometimes really big ones.
Yeah. And so, Tim, it's amazing that I think, in my opinion, that is the biggest thing, that if somebody, even the guys that only get out once a month, whatever, is learn where not to fish.
Yes.
Learn where not to fish.
90% of the river is worthless. 90% of it.
I
Now,
mean, I was
not necessarily with blues. I'm talking about the Mississippi, especially in the first stretch, but also where I fish down there, 90% of that river, or 95%, doesn't hold any fish over 40 pounds. It's just a few select spots, depending on how the water is, will gravitate the larger fish. When the water goes down, they move out. When it comes up, they move in. It's pretty clockworky, but it's really cool once you understand it. And really, the only way to understand it is to know it first, but then to practice it. Yes, 90% of the fish are in 10% of the water. And as a matter of fact, it's even less than that, Indiana, Chris, because I'm trying to fish for fish over 50 pounds. So, you know, I might have a stretch of 20 miles that might only have 4 fish that I even want to anchor on. You know, so it's going to be a very small percentage of what I even look at. You know, and flatheads are no different. Matter of fact, flatheads are pickier about their habitat than even blues are. Because, I mean, blues roam, they'll get up and they'll move around flats and they'll do a few things. But flatheads, they love their spots and they don't really derivate from it unless they're shuffling. And I call flathead shuffling because they shuffle from one spot to the next spot. They're not just cruising around looking for food. They might go a quarter mile from one piece of cover to the next one, and then the fight's on, because if there's another one there in the heart of it, in the best spot, now they got to fight for it. It's kind of cool. Blues don't hardly fight.
Well, and Tim, is that because blues are more current orientated, so that's
they're also what I would classify as, you know, and a lot of people would say that pelagic, that word goes to ocean run fish, but it's almost like that. Blues will suspend, they will group up, not because they're in a not because they're in a group. They're not, you know, pack hunters, but oftentimes whenever I find one giant, there might be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more. Now, if they were like a pack hunter, they sometimes act like pack hunters, and you can tell that when they start to move in. Like, I may be behind a wing dike on the outer third in 35 foot of water, and then it kind of shallows up more back behind the boat, and During the day, I might have 20 fish just spread out all by themselves, just laying on the bottom, one here, one there. It's almost impossible to target those. So I will move up, position my baits to where I ambush them. So when those fish get up and move, they're going to come my way. And it just seems like a kind of a staple that the larger fish almost never go outside. They almost always come almost straight up. It's like they don't go to the shore and go up. They come up, and I'm not talking about, I'm talking about the same type of spot in many different pools of the Mississippi that hold blues. From that to Canton to Keokuk to Alton to below St. Louis, all that. So the very giant fish will either be on the main channel side, okay, in deeper than 35, 40 foot of water, and they're going to move, but almost never less than 20. Now, I know they go up into 20, but if I can ambush them right, it's usually off that first drop. If this is the shore over here, it may be 50, 60 yards out, and it's still 20 foot deep, and then it drops off into 35, 40 like this. I'll almost always get them from that 35 mark or 40 all the way out to roaming around in the main channel.
And now, Tim, you're talking about, when you say that, because a lot of people, Daryl, so I'm just listening tonight, and I think a lot of us are doing that same thing. But when you're talking about that, like a lot of people, like even here on the James, we've got some spots that are shallow water, and some big fish, relative to 50s, maybe even 60s, will go up in there. But the biggest fish in those waters, you think will stay closer to that main channel?
Almost every river I've ever fished my entire life.
So
once I started to figure out really monstrous blues, 50s and 60s, yeah, they'll go shallow. But, I could count on less than one hand the amount of fish over 70 that I've caught in less than, say, 20 foot of water. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Santee Cooper has got a pattern that happens. 70s, 80s, 90s, and sometimes 100s. I just read one of the stories that I wrote about Cody Mullenix back in the day, and he caught that 121 on Lake Texoma in 4 or 5 foot of water. Now, it happens more on lakes, especially if it's a shad-based system. Mine happens to not be a shad-based system. It's a moon eye-based system. It is now. So a moon eye-based system, you've got moon eye in 35 foot of water, 40 foot of water, on the tips of wing dikes, feeding on bugs underneath barges, things like that. So, with moon eye and suckers and things like that, which are deep water bait fish, the proclivity is that. But I do think they have a natural proclivity to hang out in deeper water more than they do shallow. I think they visit shallow, but I think they hang out in deep water more. If I had, shoot, in 30 years, I'm going to be 85 years old. So I will never get the chance to actually fish as hard as I did when I was younger.
Absolutely.
Or to fish as many places with my knowledge base that I've got now. I wish I had the same knowledge base when I was 25 that I do now, because then I could really focus on when I went to the James River and pretty much do a scientific, rundown on what I was doing and saying, okay, but it would take time. You can't just go to a weekend and just go,
right,
oh boy, we caught all our fish in shallow water, and go, well, that's how it's always going to happen. It takes years to develop a pattern that is going to be behaviorally, biologically patternable.
Absolutely. And, and it, like Tim was saying before, it's going to be different in every body of water, because you're talking about different food sources, different, every body of water is a little bit, but catfish are catfish.
They are. And I like to think of it like this, Dan. I like to think that the natural behavior of all of our catfish, since they derived originally from the Mississippi River, that is the great mother river. Mm-hmm. They all derive their behavior from that, because, and let's face it, there wasn't any blues past the Appalachian Mountains until I shouldn't quote it, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Probably around 2000. So, I mean, none of that. So there was only the Ohio River system, the Tennessee, the Mississippi, and what's that? There's a river in Texas, Brazos or something like that, that kind of sneaks in at the bottom and kind of connects
Mm-hmm.
the river. So, I mean, that was the blue cat habitat until about 2000. So, and instincts are more powerful, but they also have to learn because they have to survive. And I say learn in a certain way. They're not thinking, they're not talking to their buddies and going, hey, I'm finding all these things.
They react to their conditions, right?
Yes, it's basically, simple brainstem reactivity, the Pavlovian catfish.
Yeah. Let's see.
I haven't talked this much all day, Stan. I just kind of sat there and thumbed through my phone with this.
Oh, we are glad you are, because Moon Eye, that is something, and we'll talk about Moon Eye in a second, because a lot of places don't have Moon Eye. Even Creole was saying that he's only caught a couple of Moon Eye.
No,
I don't think.
Oh, they all have Moon Eye. It's just their habitat makes them difficult to catch. I did not understand about Moon Eye until probably 2004 or 2005, and I had been on the Mississippi and the Illinois my entire life, and I had been throwing throw nets my entire life. There's certain specific spots that they become vulnerable to you, and you have to throw them in these specific areas. And I'll tell you how the exact way I found out. There was a tournament team by the two guys, Mark Farrow and Luke Steen, and Mark Farrow's dad was a commercial fisherman. And between those two, and I started talking with Luke Steen back in the Pro Cats days, and they actually showed me what and where you could catch Moon Eye. And so once I knew that, then I studied up on the behavior of Moon Eye, and then the large eye and the teeth and what they eat and where they're at and all that stuff. I can usually find Moon Eye wherever they exist, but it's going to take me a little bit of time. And they move a lot. They're schooling fish and they move a lot, but like if you catch one Moon Eye in your river, there's more. Lots. I mean, lots more. It's not just a rarity.
I hear you. All right. Yeah, it's like, yeah, and that's funny how across the country there's, different names for different species, but there's only, just because, you see Facebook and there's so many arguments about, well, mudcats do that. Well, first of all, there's no such thing as a mudcat, but what are you trying to call a what fish are you not properly naming?
A gazelle, a Appaloosa,
yeah,
a shovelhead.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was young, I was very confused because everybody's talking about this shovelhead thing in Ohio. I'm like, shovelhead? What are we talking about? I was like 16, 17 years old. I'm like, I'm ready to drive to Ohio to see what a shovelhead looks like.
And, down Louisiana, yellow cats.
Yellow cats, yep. And, they have all those same names up here because, over the years, people have moved and shuffled and all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, blues, known as coal boaters, known as Arkansas white.
Yeah. And I've heard the humpback.
Yep.
Humpback blues.
What about the high fin blue?
The high fin. There you go. That's another one.
Blue. They're all the same fish.
Somebody was trying to, and I stopped. I stopped going to. I go to Facebook and whatnot, but I stopped trying to do it because it just it's never ending. It's just never.
You cannot try to educate people on proper terms. It is what it is. As long as you understand it.
Yeah, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with calling the high fin blue, but it's a blue. It's the same. It's the same fish. It's just the same. But but anyways,
there are almost no hybrids that exist in nature. All right. As a matter of fact, I talked with somebody about the hybridization of blues and channel cats. Now, flatheads and blue cats and flatheads and channel cats, it is absolutely impossible unless you were to, in a laboratory, take an egg from, like say, a flathead female, and then take the mitochondrial DNA out of that out of it, and then you have to supplant the DNA from the male, and then add back in mitochondrial, because it's a weird thing. It's very, very complex. But they have successfully in the laboratory made hybrids of channel cats and blues all the way up to Gen 8, I think.
And they use them. They use them a lot in ponds and stuff. But and just like most hybrids, they have it, since it's designed in the lab by people.
Yep.
They have it so they don't naturally. They aren't able to mate. They aren't able to reproduce.
Well, but didn't those things escape from China out of the laboratory and get into
that's the Asian
China
carp.
or something like that? Ain't that
the Asian carp did in the flood of 1996?
Yes.
But there is no Frankenstein catfish that escaped.
I tell you, they escaped out of that same place that flu escaped out of. You just ain't listening.
All right. Well, they stayed right next to that one that's as big as a Volkswagen that's underneath every dam.
Absolutely.
Every dam we got, they're just bigger than a Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Daryl, we had butterflies and sunshine. We'll give Tim a minute to rest his voice for a second. Butterflies and sunshine, because we want to help Steve. We want to help to get as much money for Steve as we can. She was saying, I've got the link running across the bottom. D Morris Precision Cabinets at yahoo.com. That is the PayPal. Cash App is $ Trophy Seekers.
And I have Venmo also. If anybody needs that, just hit me up.
There you go. And so it's $5 a ticket, 3 for $10. If you spend $20, you get a gathering bait towel. Again, it's all going to Steve Douglas, and battling bone cancer. Definitely not one of the better ones to be battling, but we praying for him. And so she wanted to know if you could give out some more information about that. What are some of the things that are already?
Yeah, that reason I've had everything turned off is because I was eating. I had to eat something.
Oh, go ahead and eat. I can.
No, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, real quick, I did speak to Steve 2 days ago, 3 days ago, whatever. Monday, I think it was Monday. I spoke with him, or it may have been over the weekend. I can't remember. Days run together. And when they did the surgery, he told me that they got most of it, but there's still just a little cancer in there. And he thinks, or they think that he can do the radiation pill, take the pills, and that will get the rest of it. But he won't really know for sure until he goes to the oncologist. And I think he was supposed to have went Thursday, but I haven't called and talked to him because I'm scared to, because he doesn't know we're doing this raffle for him.
Yeah.
And Steve has a lot of pride, guys. And see, Ryan's like me. Ryan actually was going to help him work today. And I go, you think he knows about it yet? He goes, I don't know, but he says, when I get over there, if he knows about it, I'm probably going to get whooped. I said, well, you think you're going to get whooped? I'm the main, me and James are the main characters that went and done this thing. We're going to get killed.
Well, he does check in on Friday nights every now and then. And that was when I heard the message, somebody said that you had talked about it during the gathering. And, I knew I wanted to do something right then and there. And then,
but he's doing good. He actually, Steve's tough as nails. He's been through a lot of stuff. He's old school. He come up a lot like I did. He's told me his story of life, and we both came up pretty rough and tough, and he's just hard as nails, and he just keeps fighting. He's went through a lot of stuff, and he was back to work the second day after surgery. So he can't move his arm right now. He's got to go through.
He's such a good guy, too.
Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah. He gives you pure loyalty if you give him pure loyalty. Yeah. I mean, that's just the way he is. He's old school. A handshake is like a contract with him, and loyalty is big with him. I've told people, I said, as long as you're loyal with him and don't screw him over, he will be 100% loyal to you. I mean, he'll fight for you just like it was his own kid or whatever.
I think a lot of us old school people are like that. That meant a lot. That was what America was.
Yeah.
That was just, everybody was like that. That was just how it was. And
Stan, it will be that way again, but it's going
Amen, brother.
It's going to have to be our children.
That's
the
right.
next children that come up, because somehow the younger ones just didn't get it. But these ones that are coming up now are pretty fantastic.
Well, Tim, you've heard that story. You know the whole thing, the whole circle of life, right? You take tough men,
Yep.
bad men, or good, good, strong men create easy times. Easy times create weak men.
Yep.
Weak men create bad times.
Bad
times create strong men, which create, and then it just keeps going in circles. So. But anyways,
so he's
let's
going to go through physical therapy because he can't move his arm yet, so he can't pick things up and stuff. So I know that's why Ryan was going to help him today. He had a load of stuff he had to get unloaded and stuff. So anyway, so he's helping him. But what we've got to give away here is $500. We're going to do the drawings of tickets at $500 cash. We'll draw for it, and then we'll do another drawing for $200. We'll do a drawing for a guide trip with Creole Guide Service. We're going to do a drawing for gold mine jigs. It'll be a big pack of gold mine jigs that Jody gave. Fat Boy rigs from Kevin. James is giving away the $500, and he also is going to buy 2 Fat Boy rods to be sent out to whoever wins them. So they'll draw
FOA rods.
I'm sorry, what did I say?
Fat Boy. But that's right. I got you, Daryl. I got you back. You know how it goes. 2 FOA rods.
Fat boys. Fat Boys. FOA rods. And then the Swains are giving away a River Cats tackle rod. Bobcat is giving away a Ripping Lips rod. And then Miss V. Smith is going to be doing a custom hat and plaque with your logo on it. We'll draw twice for that. And then Catfish Sumo and Ryan are giving away a set of B-Cat planer boards. So right now, that's what we got. There may be some more stuff that I don't have wrote down because Lisa was writing a lot of it down while I was messing with stuff the other night. So I know there's a couple of things that I've left off, and I do apologize to whoever gave that if I missed it. We'll be naming it all Wednesday for sure. And
Daryl, there's going to be at least, I'm sure there's, we already talked, Tim had mentioned something earlier. I know that there's going to be some other stuff put up for raffle. And, if it's anything like what normally happens with this, we'll be just calling names. And
I will just say, I just received another $50 donation. I see somebody said they were sitting at $100. And told me how to split that. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Like I said, every bit of this is going to Steve.
And there is the apps right there.
Wow.
Happened to the Vimo app for getting tickets. Venmo. Yeah. You can, Daryl, what's your, there's Daryl's email. If you're not friends with Daryl.
You are to be.
You should be. That's Donald Long is asking about. He's got Vimo. Okay, Venmo. You know how old school I am with this.
All right, it is Kenneth-Morris-282. Kenneth-Morris-282. And you can always, like I say, if somebody needs any of that, they can hit me up and I'll give it to them. Let's see, somebody's hit me up on something here. I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting stuff. People are saying.
And Cool Cats Fishing said it's whatever 2 FOA rods they want. So it could be the double Ys, the new the effing rods. There you go.
Yeah, whatever they decide they will. Like I say, I'm trying to.
James definitely a good dude out there.
Yes, sir. Yeah, he's trying to do all he can because he's worried he's going to get beat up too.
This is one of the things. Catfish Cowboy right there said it right there. The greatest thing in life you can do, and it's not just fishing. It's the greatest thing in life you can do is just share your knowledge. Like that's how, before we had this internet, before we had all that stuff, it was shared from father to son, from uncle's family to the next generation to neighbor. That's how it just worked. And then, somewhere along the line, we got a little out of skew. But yeah, I agree with that. Best thing to do.
Sometimes when people are young, they don't want to hear it, but they'll remember it, and it'll
absolutely.
My dad always used to tell me, he said, "You'll be all right when you're 30."
Yeah.
You'll be all right. You'll be a good man by the time you're 30.
Well, look what happened. The Stand 3 and I fishing again, and now he's he's working nonstop and between the job and then doing the working with Dan on Goober Time there, and so it's 7 days a week for him, which is great because he's in his 30s right now. So that's the But we did that. We did 2 stands fishing here together. I got to fish with him. Blessed to be able to fish with him for a few years every week, and that's that's awesome.
What ended up happening with my dad is that by the time I was 30, I had slowed down just enough that he could actually deal with it.
So I need to throw something out real quick. We'll get back to Mike for let him go at it. But here's what we got going. We've got a little over $2,000 collected so far. So thank you to everybody that's done that. Ryan Bortz. Let me tell you what we did to Ryan Bortz. Ryan Bortz did it to me. We were talking about doing the dragon tournament. He said something smart about, Daryl, let's just make Daryl dress in drag. And
Lord.
So I agreed. I told them that there was like 20 minutes left of the show. I said, I'll tell y'all what, I'll wear a dress the whole dragon tournament if you guys can come up with $500 by the time the end of the show happens. You know what happened, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, of course.
They got $500. So I've got to wear a dress on the 14th during the
I
whole
would have never
tournament.
made that deal, Daryl. No way.
Well, we wasn't getting anybody coming in, so I was like, okay, I've done a lot of them deals before.
Well, that's good.
I'd rather eat a whole James River gizzard shad than
wear a dress.
Hey, I've ate my toenails before. I've burnt hands. I've burnt shirts. You wouldn't believe what all I went through.
Well, I'm willing to do all that other stuff, but
Stan, I know they make dresses big enough, but I've seen them at Walmart.
Yeah.
I've seen women wearing them.
No. We're not talking about people wearing them at Walmart. Oh, they sell them. Wow.
I know they sell them somewhere. So I saw one the other day. She looked about like your sister, your brother.
Folks, I think I've lost control here. I'm not sure, but I think I've lost control. So anyway, what I was getting to was, okay, so they raised that, and so this was Ryan Bortz's fault. So I said, Ryan, he's your buddy. You've been better around him. He's your sponsor and all that. I said, wouldn't you do nearly anything for Steve? He said, I'll do it. I'd do anything but wear a dress. He said, ain't no way I'd be stupid like you wear a dress. I said, whoa, y'all all heard that, didn't you? He just said he would do anything except for wear a dress. So if we get to $2,500, I get to name what he has to either wear or do. And he's going to have to do it during the dragging contest on the boat with me also.
Oh, boy.
So we're $500 away. So if we can get to $2,500, we all get to decide what Ryan Bortz has either got to do or wear.
It's going to have to be a tutu or something.
Hey, I thought about maybe a Playboy bunny outfit.
Oh, jeez.
Good God. I don't know if that's good.
Hey, look, he's got to wear it for 6 hours.
Here we go. All right. We've got some requests. Here we go. Let's see if that'll work.
So I think he made a way worse deal than I did. Cause wait a minute. I just got a text. Hang on. What's this thing? He said, I think I want to back out of this.
I don't blame him.
That was Ryan.
No way.
Hello, Emma. How you doing? There's River Cats Tackle. John's out there.
Howdy, John.
Purple flower sundress for Daryl.
He said, I'm gonna drop out of this. Yeah. I'm going to drop out. I'm afraid of what y'all are going to do to me or come up with.
Yes.
No, brother. Y'all see that? We got him scared now. We got him scared. He's wanting to drop out now. So
Ryan's a pretty good
oh,
sport. What up,
What
John?
the hell?
There's a wild coon. Yeah, Cajun there.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm
All right,
telling
here's
you what she's doing. I just had to tell you about Ryan.
Well, you know,
I can't
as
hear
much
this thing.
as much as we can to try to
Hey,
help out Steve. There we go. What's up, John?
these nuts. You asked for it, Stan.
I guess. By the way, that is the secret code. If you ever run into a River Cats tackle booth, use code D's Nuts at any convention, anything out there. Use code D's Nuts, get a special discount.
Nice.
What's that? Yeah, you found it.
That's
Well,
the
John,
most savage
get with
code
the
in
game.
all of catfishing.
I think so.
So what we doing, man? I ain't heard from you in a coon's age, Epic.
I'm telling you, I am working, and now I'm sick, but I am working as hard as I can so that when my truck gets out of the stupid shop, I can go flathead fishing in June and then be ready to go chasing gigantic blues in August.
Yeah. Hey, I've been trying to do that too, but too many people call me on the phone and want me to bring them stuff.
Yeah.
Can you bring me $100?
Hey, man, I took care of you.
Hey, I won that. Thank you.
Did you, are you going to have to wear that dress or what?
Yeah, I got to wear that dress. Why we got to talk about that? That's not funny no more.
Well, at least we ain't talking about your surgery.
That's true. Epic, you don't know about that. You don't want to know about that.
I don't.
Sir. Let's just say it was prostate surgery, and that right there tell you a lot.
Yeah.
God knows how all that goes. Boy, that was rough. No. Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
I've been down that road, man.
I don't want any part of it, but I know it's probably coming.
Hey, that road leads to destruction and pain and agony and a lot.
Look.
Whew.
Yeah, I know all about it.
Yeah, I do. Man, that catheter is the worst part of it. Oh,
yeah, man.
All right. Well, I'm sorry I had to jump out there for a second. I had just gotten some. Daryl's not the only one that's got people messaging him, and in his ear over here. Let me get this going here. There, we got some.
Doing that, I'm gonna get another cup of cold coffee.
Yeah, perfect, Tim. And then we'll go back with this in a second.
Nice.
cold coffee.
I like
it hot.
Okay, here we go.
Really?
I just got this in. This is top secret. I just got this in. Here we go. This is never seen before. This is Daryl modeling the dress that he's wearing.
Oh no, I'll buy a better one than that.
No. Wait a minute. Bubbles, get out of here.
That just
Hey, Stan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Look, that dress needed to be a really deep V cut.
Oh, goodness gracious. Why, Daryl's got long legs, right? He's got to show some leg.
Oh, I didn't tell y'all too. Oh, while Epic's gone, looky here. I got a notification from Amazon that I got a package coming.
I ain't had nothing to do with it.
It was like the day after that I found out I had to wear the dress, and it was coming from Brown's big and large dress shop. But it didn't say who was sending it, so I'd like to know who's sending it. But I don't appreciate it, so I guess I don't have to go find the dress. It's supposed to be here Saturday. So
what?
That's what they're saying Saturday.
What?
I might. Hey, what? Let's see. Can I come on the show Sunday? I might be able to show it off Sunday.
There
Why
we go.
not?
Yeah, sure.
I ain't
Absolutely.
putting it on. I'll tell you that much.
Well, look,
Why?
you got your choice of 3 different shows. If you're going to church Sunday morning and you can't make it for stand day, then you can go to Danny Stone's. If not there, then we can go to Lance's at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central.
There you go. Yeah, I'll get up with Danny too. I know he'll come on and try to help raise money for Steve.
There's
Very few people that wouldn't want to. So
There's Creech out there. Welcome in. There's my wife, D. Smithy.
I got a lot of towels to send out. There's been a lot of people. Well, a lot of people that's done donations over $20. I feel like it's get that gathering towel. You know.
Hey, Daryl.
Yo.
This is about what you feel like.
Hey, I love me some milk duds, Al. That was good.
I tell you what. You know what I like is, the one thing I like more than milk duds is some goobers.
Wait a minute, what?
You never had the package of goober in the movies, the big box of goobers? Isn't that the chocolate
I had
covered?
some of these.
Yeah.
Ooh, hot tamales.
Y'all must have went to the show tonight. Are getting ready to go. Maybe they're gonna make a show. I don't know.
What was that?
Nothing. I ain't going down that road with you, John.
I ain't going down that road.
With you, brother.
So, like I said, scrolling across the bottom, there it is, D. Morris, and it does come up as Kenneth. I think most people know that story by now.
Yeah, that's my first name, Kenneth. So second name, Daryl. No, that's my show name, Daryl.
That's right. What is that? The noonday plot? What do you call it? Where they have you write under a fake name?
Ghost Rider.
The Ghost Rider or noonday plot, whatever. But yes, there you go. So that's what Daryl. Yeah. Daryl's so famous that he had to change his name from Kenneth to. What the what?
You guys would be surprised how much ghost writing goes on in the fishing world.
Oh, I'm sure.
There are people that are supposed writers that don't even exist because there's so few people that they want to deal with that I've been asked to be a ghost writer as well, but I said no. But like Jim Moyer was actually a ghost writer for a while.
Wow.
Yep. There was other ones too.
There was a
Keith
song.
Sutton was actually real.
Like, Ghost Riders in the Sky.
Cutting Up with Creech says, tell us a fishing story. Well, you want to hear about last season's epic disaster? I'll try to
Why not?
I'll try to make it really fast. So I wasn't able to go. I missed almost all of donkey season down by St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
I was covered up with furniture orders. There was other things going on that I couldn't go. I had cut my finger off in December before that, and it was still it was still a mess. So I was getting more restless and angry, and so I started to develop this low grade seething anger that I wasn't able to go, and I just started thinking about it. I'm like, I would have never put up with this stuff when I was younger. I said, no way. I'm doing a Viking saga, no matter what it takes, no matter how bad it's going to be. I will stay overnight. I will sleep on the river again, like I do back in the day. I started loading stuff up in the boat and all that stuff. And then, of course, I got a business call and I had to be there the next morning. So that kind of shut that down. And so I made a couple of TikToks where I was kind of expressing my feelings. And why that's important, you'll hear it a little bit later. So I had talked about the Viking saga and said, I'm declaring war on giant catfish because, I was literally almost out of my ever-loving mind. So
absolutely.
By the time I was able to go, I thought, okay, I'm going to do it just like I used to back in the day, and I'm going to drive straight west, and I'm going to hit the Mississippi River. I'm going to go net some moon eye. I'm going to put them in the cooler. Then I'm going to fish for some flatheads. So that's what I did. So I went over there. I had everything, like tiki torches even. I just had a couple of tiki torches in the boat. I had everything I needed. I had a tiny little tent that I was going to set up in. And so I went over, and the river had dropped. I didn't even pay attention. I was so angry. The river had dropped, and my best moon eye spot, when that happens, the water goes down significantly, and it's clear enough late in the season. This is almost September. It's clear enough that there's too much light, so they all skedaddle and go deep. And so I was a little frustrated about that. But I had caught some bluegills, because I never go without any bait. And I've got my giant 128 quart cooler because I had planned to bring moon eye and other donkey baits home. But I had about 25 bluegills. So I set up on the bridge, didn't even get a bite. So I'm getting madder and madder. So I skip down about another 50, 60 yards, throw out. It's prime time almost. 5 minutes, I don't have a bite. I'm like, I'm out. I'm going to the wing dike, which I rarely am even at that pool on the Mississippi during that time. But I had remembered from like 15 years earlier that was one of the classic spots that would hold some giants. So I went down to this wing dike, and the wing dikes on this pool are not above the water, even in low water. They're below it. Okay, so this one's about 100 yards long, and it's probably in high water or normal water, it's probably 14 foot down from the surface down to the tip where the crest is. But on the backside, it slips almost straight down. So you got your current coming in. It works a nice scour hole that's kind of teardrop shaped. But on the backside of it, about halfway, it's very shallow, probably 6-8 feet to the bank. About halfway, about 50 yards. So I set up right in between the tip, right in between the thing, but I'm down a ways because I'm marking flatheads that are laying on the bottom. So I decided to set up over these because it's still light out. And so I set up over 2 marks. One was decent, the other one was whatever. And I thought, okay, because I ran around and I saw probably 4 or 5 flatheads back there. And so the first thing I catch is like a 5-pounder, little shaker, And then all of a sudden, and I knew that I had only set up on one. Okay, so I caught the one, and then my right rod got hit, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna have to. I got to go up to this wing dike because they're all gonna come this way, and they're gonna go laterally and look for food. So I hurried up and took my anchor rope up to where the ass end of the boat. So you got your wing dike like this. Got downstream. So my boat was way down here. So I pulled it up, nosed it up over. So the ass end went right to where the crease is, where it goes down the deepest and then kind of comes back up. And so, of course, because my flathead stuff is not nearly as big as my blue cat stuff. So I reach for a donkey bluegill about this big and one of River Cat's Tackle's biggest hooks. 30-pound test in a PC Fun reel. And at that time, it was one of them old Berkeley E-cats or big cats. So I throw it about 30 yards in this big dumb arch, and it lands right on top of the wing deck, which is only about 4 foot deep. But that bluegill hits that and it was perfect. It went straight down into that crease right there, and it still had about 15 yards before it hit the upswing in the carp and gar water. It was perfect. So there was nice current coming through here, blah blah blah. So I put out a couple more, and I hadn't set up any lights. I hadn't done anything. I got my phone in my back pocket, and I had made such a big deal in these little 30-second to 1 minute TikTok tirades that I did. I'm like, oh man, I got to get my phone out. But I didn't even think of that yet. I was just now starting to turn some lights on, which really wasn't much of anything. And that rod that I thrown out to the right went down. And I know exactly what it was because it didn't do any of this stuff. It did one of these, boom, like that. And then it went like that. And then it started moving because I threw it sideways. All right, now it's starting to go left. So I know I got time because I know there's no wood down there because I'm very knowledgeable about this spot. There is no wood. It's just all clay, sand, and maybe a small rock or two. So I get my phone out of my back pocket and I have to, as I'm holding this fish like this, I got to reach over for my tripod. And I put the tripod on the front deck. I get my phone out. And so I got this thing started. Now it's pretty much all dark. And so this is a big fish. Huge fish. I knew it. I'm talking to the camera. I'm thinking, yeah, I can get this, because I had the phone light on and I could see that it was doing good and, everything was good. Right. So about 20 yards out, this fish comes from down deep in that current and comes sideways belly to me. And I saw it in the ambient light, which was like, this is a giant fish. And so now the fish kind of knows he's hooked and he's ripping drag. And I've got it on my lightest weight rig I got in there, and I'm still wrestling with this thing because it hurts and it doesn't want to grip and all this stuff. So I'm just doing everything I can. And I'm by myself. No Sean, just by myself. So I finally figure out how big this fish is. I'm talking to the camera, doing all this stuff, and I get him. I trick him to the boat. He goes down, and I get him level, and I pump him up, and I grab my big monster net, my monster rod holder net, and I try to get it under this fish. Well, the current is so rough that he stiffens up and rolls out, and he stiffens up and rolls out, and I'm cramping up with my retreaded finger that's basically still all kind of really crappy. So I'm trying to net it. I got and I'm doing everything wrong. I'm grabbing the top of the rod. I'm high sticking it. And I'm still talking to the thing. And I try it again, and I can't do it. And so I go through, and he goes down, and he goes out because I only got 30-pound test on this thing. And so now I'm into it for another 10 minutes. Getting him to, because now I'm not being able to trick him very much because he knows exactly what is up there for him. So here I am. I can't get back to him and now every time he comes up, I'm at the front of the boat, right by the front deck, and he comes up at the back of the boat and starts scraping on the bottom of the boat. And so I'm like, oh, no, this isn't happening. No way. Because this is one of the biggest flatheads I've seen in a long time. So I finally get him up there, and I give up on the net. I'm just like, I can't do it. So I trade hands. So I got the rod with my terrible hand, and now I switch the thing over here, and I've got him up, and I go to scoop, and I hit my tripod with my brand new phone. And that thing, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, falls in slow motion like this. And the phone went this far over the gunnel and hit the water, and it was face up, and I saw it, the light, just saunter down into 22 foot of water on the Mississippi River. And so I'm like, oh no, what am I going to do now? I mean, such a big deal is I can't just tell the story. I got to have some footage. Yeah. So I'm thinking, okay. I'm going to have to lip this fish anyway. So I just threw the net down, which I should have done in the beginning, and I cranked him up, and I literally held the rod out here like this and just like lunged and put my terrible weak hand in his big giant jaw, and then I threw the rod down and then put another hand. If I would have lost that fish, he would have took my rod right out of the boat. It would have been even bigger than that. I couldn't like slam it in a rod holder or anything like that. So I hoist the thing into the boat, and I'm thinking, man, I got to call a buddy of mine to come down here and take pictures. And I go, how am I going to do that? My stinking phone is in the freaking river. So I can't even call anybody. So I'm like, okay. And so I'm kind of racking my brains a little bit. I'm thinking I'm just going to be forced to put this thing back in the water and just tell the story. Well, to me, without pictures or video, It's not real. So I'm thinking, okay, I got fresh water in my 128. So I literally have to fold this thing in half.
Oh my gosh.
And put it in a 4-foot cooler because the thing
Wow.
was, now I can't even remember, 57 inches long. Okay, so
Wow.
I got them all curled up in there, and luckily the water was still cold, so it really calmed the fish down. I closed the lid, pulled up anchor, and I drove home right then. Now, then I had to put him in my big red donkey bait cooler that it, you know, it's got the, you know, all the aeration, and it's got all the filtration, it's got all that. So it had to spend the night. And Sean came over the next morning. He's like, that's the biggest thing I've ever seen. He goes, that's the biggest flathead I've ever seen in real life right there. I mean, it was massive. I mean, the tail, right above the tail, was like that big around.
Oh my
Huge
goodness.
jaws, all that, and you know, that long. So the next day, we drained the tank down. Sean and I loaded it up in a little Toyota truck I've got. It's not even a Toyota; it's a Nissan. Slammed the thing, and Andrew and I drove it over back to the Mississippi and let it go, and did some filming while we did it.
Wow.
So there's your catfish story. That's actually the most recent.
That was
Sounds
quite
like a normal day for me.
Yeah, kind of normal.
That was quite the story. And Brian B said, I thought Epic said it was going to be a short story.
That
was.
a short story. You ought to heard the actual one.
Well,
since all the steps.
You know, I've got a short story I could tell too. If anybody, yeah. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's just a joke.
Man, that's got the wrong mouth.
Yeah.
That's the only thing wrong with it, wrong mouth.
Absolutely.
I'll leave that alone.
So 2 years in a row. So the last fish out of my boat was Sean's 90-pounder that he caught on the Freddy rod. And the year after that was that 57-inch fish that, if you do the math, it was very thick, somewhere between 60 and 65 pounds, somewhere around there. Maybe even more, but I don't really count it for that.
Absolutely. And that's when you can tell it's a big fish, when it carries the weight back towards the tail.
Yeah.
You know,
it was a female. It was very robust. I mean, the thing was like stupid big around, you know, like you just put your fingers together like that and just go like that. That's how big around the thing was.
I'd say it was closer to the 70s because my 73, almost 74 pounder was 64 inches long. So it was 33 inches around the girth. So
yeah, this was more like a 36 by 57.
Yeah. I'm sorry, 54. Yeah. Mine was 50. I said 60.
Yeah.
54 inches long with a 33-inch girth. So it was over 70 pounds.
Okay. All right. I always guess low.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm fine with that. I've caught enough.
Yeah.
Y'all ever notice I never have point anything on a fish? I never go 35.06 or any of that stuff. No, I haven't done that for years.
On Woody's Blue Cat, I always say it was 101.5 pounds.
There you go.
That was supposed to be my fish. He reeled in on my rod, but that's okay. We still had a great day that day. That was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
All right, everybody. I'm wearing down. I'm about ready to hit the couch again.
I heard that.
We are going to get out of here. It's been it's almost 20 to 10 out here on the East Coast. Anything else out there in chat? Any other questions? Anything before we get out of here?
You guys,
I will say this. I don't put up YouTube videos much anymore, but I have not forgotten you guys on the live shows. So when Sean and I go back out, or even me by myself, I'm still going to do YouTube lives. Couldn't ask for better people.
Absolutely, Epic, and we get that, and that's YouTube is trying to compete against TikTok now, and they're doing things with trying to make it easier to to put things up, and I know that's part of the reason.
Well, I sure don't notice it because a video that I put up on TikTok get 35,000 views, and I put it on YouTube and it gets 500.
Yeah, I know.
So I mean, if they're not going to push them, if they want me to be their working slave, add effects using hand gestures. That's weird. If they want to be me to be their working slave, I'm not that right guy. So, maybe I'll never get good views on YouTube again. But, if they won't push videos very good, even good ones, well, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's
that's a lot of work for 500 views.
Yep.
Absolutely. But there you go. Cutting Up with Creech said, good story, Epic. Thank you for sharing. Absolutely. And I don't see any other questions out there. John, anything you'd like to add before we get out of here?
Nah, we all good. I just come in here to talk a little smack to Daryl.
Daryl, what do you want to add before we jump out of here?
Everybody tune in Sunday at 7 on Lance McCougar's right channel.
Yeah.
7 Eastern, 6 p.m. Central.
Yep. I'm going to try to jump up on that too. And then Wednesday on Trophy Seekers Outdoors, Not Just Another Fishing Show, we'll be doing the raffle, and we'll sell tickets to start off with. And once we quit selling any tickets, we will do the drawing. Guys, help a good guy out if you can. Help us out to raise. Our goal is $2,500. We're at $2,000 right now. Love to see us get to $3,000. But look, if we get to $2,500, everybody knows Ryan Bortz needs something bad done to him. Help us get Mr. Ryan Bortz and figure out what we want to do to him. So I get to choose it, so you guys can help me choose it. So
there's Mr. Kitty Whiskers.
You're gonna allow me to choose?
I'm going to throw it out there to chat. What do y'all? What should we do to Big Mouth Ryan Bortz? Mr. Kai.
Think about that. We'll get come up with some ideas for Sunday night, and then again on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday night, 9 p.m. That's when the drawing is going to be held. We'll get that going.
Thank you to everybody that's already given. We appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you to the people that has been doing the donating. Y'all are awesome. You guys, all I am is a mouthpiece, and I could not do any of this without you guys. It's not me, it's you, and thank you so much for all you guys do. Thank you very much. I didn't mean to make you cry, Epic.
Oh my gosh, I'm a mess.
Denny Stone said, I run to the store and y'all let that cotton picking John Cyclone in here. And there it is.
Danny.
Hey, Danny, I may jump on your show Sunday if I'm hanging around somewhere.
There's thank you, Randy, and thank you 922. They put up Cutting Up with Creech. There's his link right there. If you haven't checked out his channel yet, fellow River Cats tackle brother there. So help him out trying to get up there so he can go on YouTube. And Tim, anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I was just going to tell John that I intend on a lot of times trying to make it for his show on Sundays, but I've been going to bed early and getting up really early on Monday. So if he would just text me, Sunday afternoon or whatever, so I make sure to make it a couple times, because otherwise I'll just fall asleep on the couch.
We'll get you one day.
All right.
When you ain't wore out and you ain't busy.
Yeah, I'm pretty wore out right now. I'm pretty under the weather, but and lately I sleep 2 hours on the couch and I'm up for 2 hours, and then I sleep a little bit more. Maybe I'll go to bed and I'll be up for another 2-3 hours, and I might get lucky to have 4 hours of sleep.
You drink coffee, right?
No, not usually. I'm drinking coffee right now, so I'm not.
Let me ask you this though. But there's several stages of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a level 1 or a level 3 or 4?
This is nuclear coffee right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the Skull and Crossbones coffee.
I know where you're at now.
Yeah, matter of fact, it's not even brewed. It's It's the old instant classic type stuff.
Oh, there
and I
you
like
go.
Triple it.
Man.
It's pretty triple. I did put some foo-foo in it though.
Yeah,
Not
I
all
think
just
that.
black. Yeah.
Well,
Helps my scratchy throat.
Yeah, it kind of works on the sinuses too. Some.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
there's
Oh yeah.
well,
I'm doing the nose spray about 20 times tonight, I bet. Otherwise
and
I'll
there's
just snore all night.
Laura the Explorer's in there. If you haven't checked her channel out, she does a little live fishing and stuff. Great to see her in. So check that out. But with that being said, I can't add anything else. Tim, thank you. I appreciate you coming up. John, Daryl, thank you.
Everybody. Good to see you.
If you haven't got those tickets in, number one, it's a great cause. And number two, you got a great chance to win a lot of great prizes there. So get it's been scrolling across the bottom there. 1 ticket for $5, 3 for $10. You spend $20, you get a free gathering bait towel. And with that being said, we're out of here. Deuces.